Good morning students. I am on cloud 9 to meet you again for this English session. Hope you are all doing fine at home, preparing your lessons well. We do not know what type of changes we will get. Anyway, whatever may be the situation, we have to face it correctly. So, prepare your lessons well. Hope you might have read that God sees the truth but waits, and noted the minor points that is being missed maybe by me, and you got it, I hope. If you have any doubt, you ask me. The one thing I forgot to tell you on that day, that is, I have pronounced the word SAR, C-Z-A-R, and I told you the pronunciation of it is SAR, that C is silent. But I did not tell you what is Tsar, the Russian ruler, that is the meaning of Tsar. So the XII made a petition, asked his wife to make a petition to the rulers. That's all. Now, let us come back to the preparation of a nice cup of tea. So 3 points yes given already that we have discussed. And first one is use Indian tea. Second one is make in small quantities in a earthenware. Third one is the pot should be warm before we prepare the tea. Now fourthly, the tea should be strong. For a pot holding a quart, if you are going to fill it nearly to the brim, 6 heaped teaspoons would be about right. In a time of rationing, this is not an idea that can be realized on every day of the week. But I maintain that 1 strong cup of tea is better than 20 weak ones. All true tea lovers not only like their tea strong, but like it a little stronger with each year that passes, a fact which is recognized in the extra ration issued to old age pensioners. So fourthly, the tea should be strong. That is, add sufficient quantity of tea dust to the tea. So some people make 3 or 4 cups of tea with a half teaspoon of tea dust. That will never give you a strong taste. So he advises to use sufficient quantity of tea dust. And all true tea lovers like to have strong tea only. So but like it little stronger with each year they passes. When they become old, we wanted to have the tea a little more stronger. And sarcastically he criticizes by saying that because at the old age they will get pension enough to use more and more, to buy more and more tea dust maybe. So as days go by, we use stronger tea. And he is criticizing the people who is getting that pensioners can use it more, because when they become old they will get the family pension maybe, right? And what is the meaning of rationing? Ration, see, during this lockdown period, the Tamil Nadu government has announced 1,000 rupees to all the rationers. Who is that rationers? People who possess that ration cards, right? That is actually the meaning of the word is restricting the consumption of commodities, scarce commodities during the wartime. But now during the lockdown, the free rice, dal, all these things are given to us. So it is a ration only, right? So use sufficient amount of tea dust. Fourth point. Now the fifth one is, the tea should be put straight into the pot, no strainers, muslin, bags or other devices to imprison the tea. Next thing is, you have to put the tea dust straight into the pot. Don't use any strainers or any other things, filters or something like that to prepare tea. In some countries, teapots are fitted with little dangling baskets under the sprout of catchy the stray leaves which are supposed to be harmful. In some places, some countries, they use teapots fitted with that hanging freely, that dangling baskets under the sprout. What is the sprout? Pipe-like thing to pour tea into the cups. So they have that hangings like that. But he said, Orwell advises us to put the tea dust directly into the pot. Actually, one can swallow tea leaves in considerable quantities without ill effect. And if the tea is not loose in the pot, it never infuses properly. If the tea is not loose in the pot, it will never give out a strong tea. So, put the tea inside the teapot itself. Don't use strainers or filters or something like that to prepare a nice cup of tea. So the fifth point is put the tea dust straight into the teapot. Next one. Sixthly, one should take the teapot to the kettle and not the other way about. The water should be actually boiling at the moment of impact, which means that one should keep it on the flame while one pours. Some people add that one should only use water that has been freshly brought to the boil, but I have never noticed that it makes any difference. The next one is tea should be put one should take the teapot to the kettle. You have to take the teapot to the kettle. From the kettle, you have to pour the hot water to the teapot. So, the distance between the kettle and the teapot should be very near. It must be kept very close by. The water should be actually boiling at the moment of impact. When you are going to pour it into the teapot, the water must be boiling at that time, which means that one should keep it on the flame while one pours. So even when you are pouring it, that stove should be in flame. Some people add that one should only use water that has been freshly brought to the boil. Some people take water after that, and after that only they will be boiling it. That will never give a good taste to the tea. But I have never noticed that it makes any difference. Here Orwell says that it won't make much difference, but that is the correct way of preparing it. Seventhly, after making tea, one should stir it, or better give the pot a good shake afterwards, allowing the tea leaves to settle. After preparing it, just seventh point he says, after making the tea, after putting the tea into the pot, just stir it well or give a good shake to the pot. Eighthly, one should drink out of a good breakfast cup. That is the cylindrical type of cup, not the flat, shallow type. So the next point he gives is, use a cylindrical shaped cup to have your tea. Why Orwell is advising us to use cylindrical cup? Usually tea will be good when it is hot. If it is cold, it is not that good to taste. So here, if it is a cylindrical cup, the hotness will be there for 5 minutes at least. So he says, we won't drink tea, we will just sip it, That is why it will take time. If you just enjoy drinking tea, you will sip it and drink. So he says, take it in a breakfast cup. That is the cylindrical type of cup, not the flat, shallow type. The breakfast cup holds more, and with the other kind, one's tea is always half cold before one has well started on it. So if you just prefer other types of cups, before you just finishes half of the tea, it will get cold and you won't get the effect of the good, nice cup of tea. So the tea should be poured in a cylindrical cup. Ninth point, one should pour the cream of the milk before using it for tea. Milk that is too creamy always gives tea a sickly taste. So just remove the cream from the milk and use it for the preparation of tea. If you just boil the milk along with the cream, it won't give a good taste. It will be giving a sickly taste, he says. Orwell says that it gives a sickly taste. You might have tasted that sickly tea of Orwell also in your home. Next, 10thly, the last but one point he says is, one should pour tea into the cup first. This is one of the most controversial points of all. Indeed, in every family in Britain, there are probably two schools of thought on this subject. The milk first school can bring forward some fairly strong arguments, but I maintain that my own argument is unanswerable. This is that by putting the tea in first and stirring as one pours, one can exactly regulate the amount of milk, whereas one is liable to put it too much milk if one does it the other way round. The 10th point, he says that there are two schools of people on this controversial point. Some people says that take milk in a cup and after that pour the tea and stir it. There is no harm in it, but Orwell is of the opinion that for the preparation of best nice cup of tea, as he says, first we have to pour the tea into the cylindrical cup and after that pour the cream-free milk and stir it, because if you pour milk secondly, we can stop when we feel that the milk is sufficient for the tea. That is his argument. So, by putting tea in first and stirring it as one pours, one can exactly regulate the amount of milk, whereas one is liable to put it too much milk if one does it the other way round. If you do it the other way round, first the milk is filled up in it. After that, if you pour tea, sometimes the milk will be more or less or whatever it is. Even if it is less, you can add, but if it is more, you cannot. So he advises us to just take tea and after that pour milk into the tea. The last point he gives is, unless one is drinking it in the Russian style, should be drunk without sugar. The last point, he advises us to have tea, whether you have plain tea or tea with milk, whatever it is, drink it in the Russian style without sugar. How many of you are using tea without sugar? You will never touch it. Am I right? So, it is not, you are not tasting tea, you are tasting only sugar. That's what Orwell says. Lastly, tea, unless one is drinking it in the Russian style, one should drink it without sugar. I know very well that I am in a minority here, but still, how can you call yourself a true tea lover if you destroy the flavor of your tea by putting sugar in it? So Orwell says that if you are a true tea lover, you will never add sugar to it. If you add sugar to the tea, the flavor of the tea gets spoiled. It would be equally reasonable to put in pepper or salt. It is not like tea, it will be, even if you can put pepper or salt or whatever you like and drink it. If you sweeten it, you are no longer tasting the tea, you are merely tasting the sugar. If you put sugar in tea, you are not tasting the actual tea, a nice cup of tea, you are tasting only sugar. You could make a very similar drink by dissolving sugar in plain hot water. You need not make tea like this. You can just dissolve this sugar in water and you can drink it. So these are the points, 11 points he is giving us to follow in the preparation of tea. Some people would answer that they don't like tea in itself, that they only drink it in order to be warmed and stimulated, and they need sugar to take the taste away. To those misguided people, I would say, try drinking tea without sugar. for say a fortnight, and it is very unlikely that you will ever want to ruin your tea by sweetening it. And he gives some more explanation for the people who wish to have their tea with sugar. He says some people would answer that they don't like tea in itself, that they only drink it in order to be warmed and stimulated. So we want to get some stimulation to do our work. We want to have our tea. We want to taste our tea to get stimulated, to get rid of our boredom. For that, if the tea has no sugar, how could we drink it? That is the question asked by most of the people. And they need sugar to have a better taste. That's what people used to ask. To that people, Orwell gives us an advice. He advises us to have tea without sugar for a fortnight, a period of 2 weeks time. So he just give an experiment. 2 weeks time, just drink tea without sugar. Maybe at the initial stage it is very difficult maybe. You don't feel like drinking, whatever it is, try to adjust it. And after that, if sugar is added along with it, you will never feel that it is good. You don't want to ruin the taste of the tea by sweetening it again. After drinking for 2 weeks, you will just automatically just adjust it with drinking tea without sugar. So he has advised us to drink tea without sugar. These are not only controversial points to arise in connection with tea drinking, but they are sufficient to show how subtleized the whole business has become. There is also a mysterious social etiquette surrounding the teapot, why it is considered vulgar to drink out of your saucer, for instance. And much might be written about the subsidiary uses of tea leaves, such as telling fortunes, predicting the arrival of visitors, feeding rabbits, healing burns, and sweeping the carpet. It is worth paying attention to such details as warming the pot and using water that is really boiling, so as to make quite sure of wringing out of one's ration the 20 good strong cups of that 2 ounces properly handled ought to represent. So in this paragraph he says that there are some other purposes for which the tea is also used. That is, for telling fortunes. People will go to the people to ask how their future will be. Fortune tellers. Predicting the arrival of visitors, feeding rabbits, healing burns. For all this, for cleaning, sweeping the carpet, cleaning the carpet. So for all these purposes it is being used. It is worth paying attention to such details as warming the pot and using water that is really boiling, so as to make quite sure of wringing out of one's ration the 20 good strong cups of tea that ounces properly handled out to represent. So here Orwell advises us to prepare a nice cup of tea by following the 11 important points. Hope you understood. And you will be preparing tea following the instructions given by our author. And you will feel that you have, so far you have not prepared tea, you have prepared maybe some mixture of sugar and water with tea dust. Now you could get a nice cup of tea. Students, what are the 11 points? First one is, it must be Indian or Ceylonese tea must be used. Second one, it must be used made in small quantities, not in cauldron, and use a earthen pot for it. The third step is warm the teapot beforehand. Fourthly, tea should be strong, and even if the price is high, just make the quantity must be little, and the tea don't reduce the tea dust to it. It must be very strong. Then it must be the tea dust must be, tea leaves must be put straight into the pot. The next one is take the pot near the kettle so that you will get the boiling water directly into the tea. The next point is make tea, while making tea, stir it well and allow the tea leaves to get settled. The 8th point is use the tea, drink the tea in the cylindrical small cups. Next one is remove the cream out of the milk. Remove the cream out of the milk. The next one is pour the tea into the cup first and after that add milk to it. Finally, drink the tea without sugar. So following all these things, you tell your parent, mother, who prepares tea for you and give you a nice cup of tea. Hope you understand the lesson. A Nice Cup of Tea by George Orwell. Some exercise part of it here and there I will just finish it, and the remaining I will do it when you come back to our class, face-to-face teaching. There you will see that the thing that I feel that I could teach you through this online class, I will just tell you. Please take page number 38 of your textbook, children, with a pencil in your hand. Page number 38. Golden rules of tea preparation. And some words are given. Add sugar, shaken, milk, infuse properly, strainers without cream, taken to the kettle, small quantities, china or earthenware, stirred, warmed. These are the words which is given in bracket. Now just fill in the blanks with the words. Tea should be made in dash in a teapot. Small quantities. Next one. Teapot should be made of dash. Earthenware. Third one. The pot should be dash beforehand. Warmed. The pot should not have strainers. Are you completing it? Want me to wait? While pouring water, the teapot should be taken to the kettle. The tea leaves should be infused properly. After making tea, it should be stirred or the pot should be shaken. The milk for the tea should be without cream. The author does not like to add sugar to the tea. Have you completed, students? Now take that vocabulary area. Find out the synonym of the underlined word in each of the following sentences. In page number 39, vocabulary. The first one. But because the best manner of making it is the subject of violent dispute. Dispute? Conflict. Tea is one of the mainstays of civilization in the country. What is civilization? A society in an advanced state of social development. You are in the civilized country. Third one, that they only drink it in order to be warmed and stimulated. Stimulated, motivated. Under the sprout to catch the stray leaves. Stray leaves, loose leaves. One is liable to put it too much milk. One is liable to put in too much milk. Responsible. The next one, find the antonym of the underlined words. Which are not to be despised. Despised meaning hated. So opposite is liked. One does not feel wise, braver or more optimistic. Opposite pessimistic. Not the flat, shallow type. Shallow opposite deep. Predicting the arrival of visitors. Arrival, departure. But they are sufficient to show how surplused the whole business has become. Sufficient, inadequate. Fill in the boxes with the correct answers. The first one has been done for you. And I will just give you one. The remaining you have to do as homework. Okay, students? First one. Word wise. Meaning clever. Part of speech, adjective. My brother is wise. Noun or verb form of the word wise is wisdom. My brother showed great wisdom in business. Second word, harm. The meaning of it is hurt. The part of speech is verb. Don't harm animals. Using it in sentence. Don't harm animals. Harmful is the adjective of it. Harmful. Using it in sentence. Smoking is harmful to our health. Smoking is harmful to our health. Right? The next things 3, 4, 5 and 6. You do it as homework and you just spend some time on it and try to do it. I will just give you the correct answer after you completing the homework. Okay? Just we will wind up this session. Thank you, children.